Prime Field.
Welcome. On October 29th, 2025, the Tennessee Lady Volunteers scored 148 points in an exhibition contest. The final read 148-48. That total broke a 25-year exhibition record. The previous high was 144 points, set on November 5th, 2000, against Dynamo Kiev. That single number asks a simple question. What did Tennessee show in one night? And what does it mean for the season ahead? This film follows the facts. It follows the numbers. It follows the system under Coach Kim Caldwell. To understand the 148 points, the details matter. The next chapter examines the game itself. The scoreline was emphatic. 7 Lady Vols reached double figures. 4 players tied for the game high with 18 points. Tennessee forced 45 turnovers and recorded 30 steals. Attendance was 10,159. Those metrics describe 2 themes: offensive volume and defensive pressure. The 148 points established a new program benchmark for exhibition scoring. The 45 turnovers forced and 30 steals explain how possessions were created. The crowd figures underline the scale of the moment. This was not an isolated scoring outburst from one player. It was a balanced attack. 7 scorers in double digits suggest a distributed offense. The 4 players with 18 points indicate multiple primary options. The turnover and steal totals indicate sustained defensive activity that converted into offense. These are observable, verifiable outputs from a single contest. They raise a broader question. Are these outputs a one-game spike or evidence of an installed system? The next chapter addresses that question. The numbers point to a system at work. The next chapter explains the coach and the scheme behind them. Kim Caldwell arrived with a documented offensive and defensive identity. Her Glenville State teams provide the blueprint. In 2022-23, Glenville State led the nation with 91.2 points per game and forced 27.3 turnovers per game. In 2021-22, her Glenville State squad went 35-1 and won the Division II National Championship. Her first Tennessee season produced similar signs. The 2024-25, Lady Vols averaged 86.6 points per game, the 4th best average in program history. Those season averages show a continuity of philosophy: high tempo, aggressive defense, and high scoring. The exhibition versus Columbus State produced 45 forced turnovers. That single game figure exceeds Caldwell's Glenville State average for turnovers forced. From that perspective, the game reads as an instance where the coach's trademark pressure fully manifested. The evidence therefore supports a causal reading. The performance aligns with an intentional system, not plain variance. The next chapter examines how personnel fits that system. A system requires pieces. The roster supplies those pieces, returning leaders and new additions. Tennessee enters 2025-26 with both continuity and infusion. The returning core includes senior Z Spearman, senior Ruby Whitehorn, and redshirt junior Talijah Cooper. Those 3 accounted for 39.9 points per game last season. Cooper was all SEC second team and all defensive team, averaging 16.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 3.1 steals per game. Spearman averaged 11.7 points and 6.0 rebounds. Whitehorn posted 11.6 points and 4.0 rebounds. At the same time, the roster added a classified top transfer class. Notable additions include Janiah Barker from UCLA, Nia Robertson from SMU, and Jersey Wolfenbarger, LSU. Robertson arrives with an all-ACC second-team resume, 18.5 points per game and 62 made three-pointers last season. Barker was the 2025 Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year and averaged 7.4 points and 6.0 rebounds at UCLA. In the exhibition, transfer Janiah Barker registered a box plus-minus of plus 62. That single-game mark highlights immediate integration in an unofficial setting. The broader unit now lists 5 distinct players who averaged double-digit scoring or came close at the Power 5 or Group of 5 level last season. That distribution creates multiple scoring threats for the system to exploit. This balance of returning leadership and incoming usage reshapes how possessions are allocated and how pressure converts to points. The next chapter places Tennessee inside its conference context. Tennessee's roster and system will be measured against one of the nation's deepest conferences. Preseason placement frames expectations. The AP preseason poll ranked Tennessee at #8 nationally. The SEC preseason media poll placed Tennessee 4th in the league, behind South Carolina, Texas, and LSU. The AP Top 10 included 5 SEC teams in the preseason list: South Carolina, Texas, LSU, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. That alignment describes a top-heavy conference. To claim a conference title, Tennessee must navigate multiple matchups against top 10 opponents. The schedule will present repeated tests of the Lady Vols' depth and defensive identity. In that context, the exhibition's defensive outputs, 45 turnovers forced and 30 steals, are not merely impressive. They are strategic assets designed to offset the SEC's collective firepower. The team's construction appears deliberately suited for sustained pressure across a grueling slate. The next chapter quantifies that depth. Conference placement matters, but internal depth determines durability. The following chapter measures that durability. Seven scores in double figures in an exhibition is a concrete demonstration of depth. The roster's statistical profile supports that observation. 3 returning scorers combined for nearly 40 points per game last season. Incoming transfers add at least 2 high-usage scorers, including an 18.5 point per game scorer in Robertson. The freshman class adds high school talent, with 3 McDonald's All-Americans listed for the incoming class. The result is a roster with multiple on-court scoring options and defensive specialists. That balance matters in substitution patterns, matchup planning, and the ability to withstand fouls or injuries. Depth matters in the SEC, where physical games and quick turnarounds are common. Tennessee's preseason construction suggests planners prioritized a rotation capable of sustaining pressure minutes. Numbers from the exhibition support that architecture: distributed scoring, multiple high-usage options, and turnover generation that can create scoring runs without relying on a single star. The next chapter considers the possible limits of this structure. Depth creates opportunity, but integrating new pieces can create friction. The next chapter examines risks and upside. Coach Caldwell summarized the outlook in 2 phrases heard at SEC Media Day: a low floor and a high ceiling. The low floor refers to an integration risk. 8 newcomers must find roles, the ranked transfer class, and a consensus top 2 high school recruiting class that includes 3 McDonald's All-Americans. Roster cohesion and role clarity will be necessary. The high ceiling derives from proven system mechanics. Caldwell's teams have produced high scoring, high turnover production, and in Glenville State's case, a national championship. Adding a high usage scorer such as Robertson to an already productive system increases theoretical scoring potential. The team's 86.6 points per game last season forms a historical baseline for how high this roster might operate. Risk and reward coexist. The exhibition offered evidence that the system can function with new inputs, but regular season conditions, stronger opponents, extended scouting, and game-to-game adjustments will be the true test. The final chapter places this season in the program's broader arc. The program's history and the present moment converge in questions of legacy. Tennessee's preseason ranking reflects institutional history as well as present expectations. The AP preseason #8 is the program's highest preseason placement since a 5 slot in 2022-23. Over time, Tennessee has appeared in 795 of the 886 AP polls conducted since 1976. That continuity situates the current team within a long record of national prominence. The exhibition's 148 points, the distribution of scoring, and the defensive metrics are data points in a larger narrative, a program seeking to reestablish consistent national contention under a head coach with a demonstrable system. The incoming transfers, returning core, and elite freshman class collectively shift the roster toward both immediate competitiveness and sustained depth. This performance was a statement measured in points, steals, and turnovers. It was also a system test measured against historical performance and institutional expectations. The season ahead will answer whether the exhibition was a preview or an omen. For now, the record is clear: a new offensive benchmark, a pronounced defensive profile, and a roster structured to contest one of college basketball's deepest conferences. The questions remain empirical. Will the turnover generation scale against top 10 opponents? Will the newcomers integrate across a demanding schedule? Those answers will be supplied game by game, possession by possession as the season unfolds.
Prime Field